purchased a home before I was in a wheelchair. And so I have a home built in the late 1940s. It was built in 1949, and they did not build homes in the late 1940s that were built for people in wheelchairs. I am lucky enough to be working with vocational rehabilitation right now to be getting some modifications that are making the home more livable and making things just easier for me to get around. And I think in looking for an ideal living situation, that's one of the things that is so important. You don't realize when you're trying to get around in a living space that is not equipped for a wheelchair user, how much energy you waste and how much more tired you are, how much less you can do in other aspects of your life. I had a surgery in the beginning of January, which ended up causing it helped in some ways in decreasing spasticity, which is a portion of my condition. I have generalized dystonia, which is in the same, it's kind of similar to Parkinson's disease. So I have a lot of muscle spasm, spasticity, that type of thing. But with the surgery, it decreased the spasticity, but made me more dependent on the wheelchair. So I was able to get up and walk a lot more in my home before the surgery than I am now. And before they were going to let me come home from the rehabilitation hospital, I was told basically that I was going to have to go into a nursing home because my house was not accessible and it was not safe for me to go home. And I had two great friends that went to my house, and they said the big stumbling block was the bathroom, because in houses that are built in the time frame that mine was, which mine was built in 1949, the doorway to my bathroom was about the size of a closet door. I believe it was 24 inches. So getting a wheelchair in the door is just not possible. I mean, I couldn't even get a walker through my door unless you'd put it sideways, and then you'd have to sidestep, which just doesn't work. So I had two friends that came and took my bathroom door off, all the trim around it, so I could just barely get my wheelchair through the door, and scraping knuckles up the whole time. And lived that way from February until just about 2 weeks ago, so this is November. So it's been that way for nearly a year, just with a shower curtain for a bathroom door. So vocational rehabilitation is helping out a lot with home modifications right now. They've been able to widen my bathroom door so that I can actually get into it now without, getting hurt or not being able to, depending on the day. I now have a sliding pocket door, which it slides completely into the wall, so it's out of the way, which works great. I now have a wall-hung sink so that rather than one with a typical lavatory that has the drawers and everything underneath it. So I can now get in front of the sink with my legs underneath it, and they've dropped the medicine cabinet down so I can actually see what I'm doing. And they're still in the process of doing some things, but they're adding additional grab bars in the bathroom to help with getting on and off the toilet, in and out of the bathtub. They suggested a roll-in shower, but I'm hoping to either foster to adopt or to adopt a child at some point in the fairly near future, and felt that a bathtub was necessary. And so we decided to keep that feature. They have added a stair lift so I can now get to my basement to do laundry, which was always really dangerous. It's like I would have to do kind of like what little kids do when they're first learning to walk, where you would just kind of sit and scoot up and down the stairs, which trying to do that with a laundry basket is not real great. So a lot of times, my clothes would end up downstairs, and it's like you'd bring up an outfit or two at a time. And I don't have to do that anymore, and it's just a lot safer. They're lowering my kitchen cabinets, which were very, very tall, and I will actually be able to reach my kitchen sink now without having to lean against things. And I will have an oven that has all of the controls in front, because with my other one I was having to reach across hot burners with my arm almost touching the burners in order to turn the oven on and off. And I have an automatic door opener now also, which is amazing. It's like I have a key fob on my keychain that I just press a button, the door unlocks itself and will open to let me in, which is just fantastic. I think as far as making the community livable, the best things are when you can have locations that have accessible sidewalks that are level. I know in many cases they will put the sidewalks at a slant, which helps with water runoff. But when you're in a wheelchair, it makes you off balance. So one of your arms has to work a lot harder than the other, and it just takes a lot of additional energy. Having the curb ramps in accessible places. I mean, there's a few places that I go that, you'll have the building you need to go to, you have to go down 2 or 3 buildings before you can get up onto the sidewalk. So it's just having just places to where you can even get to where you need to go.